Welcome to the Possibility Alliance in Missouri!
The Possibility Alliance is a loose connection of 3 projects on 160 acres. The Peace and Permaculture Center is 20 acres, and then the White Rose Catholic Worker, just up the way, is 30 acres. And then Stillwater Sanctuary, the original project that started it all, is 110 acres, and that was started by 4 people 7 years ago, with the mission of basically becoming our highest human potentials and to serve the world as best that we can to create the culture that we want to see, that's regenerative for all life. Everyone says it differently. That's how I'm saying it in this moment. So.
Ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is live off the land for our food, our fuel, our fibers, our housing, our entertainment. Everything we need would come off the land here. And that's why we joined the Possibility Alliance, to have a village model doing this.
David Holmgren said, who is the co-founder of permaculture, he said, to meet human needs within ecological limits requires a cultural revolution. So what is that cultural revolution? What would that look like? And so we like to think a core of that is this concept of vocation, where our greatest passions meets the world's greatest needs. And oftentimes our education system, at least mine, what I went through, very rarely asked either one of those questions. What is my greatest passion or my skills that I could offer the earth or the world? And what are the greatest needs of my community or of the planet, and how can I put those two together? And so our desire here is to have an educational background and system that will do that will ask those questions, that'll find out who are you, what is your great passion or skill that you want to offer the world, how do you put that in the context of the world or your community and what it needs, and then what are some fundamental things that we feel like you might need to know to go out and do that. Sometimes we phrase that as the hard skills and the soft skills. The hard skills being, how do I sustainably manage a forest? How do I make the tools that I'm going to need? How do I grow my own food? Those kinds of questions in a way that works for the upliftment of all beings, so that no other creatures have to suffer for the way that we're living.
That's something that is a big part of the project here, as we're seeking to live more naturally and produce more of our own needs from the land here. We're gradually moving towards developing more skill in how to do things, when a lot in the mainstream society and culture, you can go to the grocery store and buy food, you can go to a lumber yard and buy lumber, you can go to wherever and buy whatever you need, and you don't have to do much work to actually make it into a usable product. Providing for more of our own needs from the land, it takes a lot more skill and knowledge to be able to do that. So going out into the woods and harvesting trees to cut up into wood to use for building requires a lot more skill than just buying a board from a different place.
Today I am picking beans to can so that we will have beans to eat for the rest of the year. And in general here I do a lot of different things, and most of it revolves around food. I work on a workshop space on the other side of the project, where we invite people to come and enjoy being in the natural environment while learning about natural building or permaculture or conflict resolution or all kinds of different things. I left college early because I felt like I wasn't really learning what I wanted to be learning and making a difference in the world, and I felt really kind of disempowered and disillusioned. And so I found out about this place, and I really love here the integral nature of what we do, of how we are trying to grow our own food and live without exploiting anyone and with the labor of our own hands.
I've learned a lot just by being in this community. That's maybe the learning that's been most meaningful to me, is like, you know, the subtle things, the soft skills, just what it means to really be like vulnerable and present to who we are and on this planet and with each other. And then I've also learned, you know, I haven't lived on a farm before, so I've learned a lot of hard skills too, in terms of working with animals, milking, and then natural building too, building a straw bale house. So.
The first floor here, the walls are made of straw bales, and the frame is constructed of local lumber. Some of it's harvested from the land, from the forest, about 100 yards away. Other pieces of the wood and stuff are harvested from the local area and milled by a local Amish sawmill.
I looked at our cabin, which we're building, and like on the bottom, there's 12 Osage tree posts that are sunk into the ground, and I helped to harvest them. I helped in some way to build the place that I'm going to stay in. Never had anything like that, and is really not just the process was fun, having a lot of people working on the house, but there's something really nice and beautiful to be a part of that process.
Natural building in particular is exciting to me because it just feels like it's a way to connect like important skills that we need for our basic needs, building shelter, and it feels really empowering to learn more about how to create structures and provide for myself things that I'll need living in this world, and do it in a way that feels really good and is connected to my environment and makes sense with the way I want to live too.
We also want to focus on a core curriculum, the soft skills, as they're sometimes called, which is how do you build consensus, restorative justice, nonviolent communication? How do we build community with each other? Sometimes, some people have been calling that the harder skills, actually. They're a little bit harder to learn from my experience. Soil health workshop happening Monday the 18th. Who wants to go? Tell me. Who wants to go? And Adina. 1, 2, me, 3. Anybody else?
I don't know.
4. All right.
I'm overwhelmed.
It was too much. TMI.
It's too much information at once.
But a core curriculum of those things matched together with your great passions and the world's great needs, and then you graduate by starting your project, whatever it is, whatever you feel like you want to bring into the world, whatever you feel like you can uniquely create and speak. You leave here by beginning with our network of resources and people that have come through here already. You already have a strong support network to go out into the world and do it. So whether that takes 6 months or 4 years, whether we're creating a replacement for the 4-year university degree, or whether it just takes a few months and then you're ready to go, it depends completely on you and who you are and what context you're going into.
It's really valuable to work on all different levels, to really see the importance of transforming ourselves on the personal level and growing and learning to live a more loving and nonviolent life. And then also that's the foundation of building a new society and learning the skills to build that new society.
Probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I was working an engineering job outside of Chicago in the oil industry mainly, and I was sitting in my cubicle and just started getting dissatisfied with that environment. So I started traveling around to see what different intentional communities were doing, to see how different places were doing sustainable agriculture, simple living. And through that trip around the country, I visited 15 or so different communities along the year of traveling, and I heard about this place and visited kind of halfway through my journey and knew that I needed to spend some more time here. So I let the folks know here that I was really interested in spending some more time, and then came the following year for an apprenticeship, which is like 7-8 months, and I just kind of fell in love with the place and the mission and the vision, and been here ever since.
I feel so much more empowered to be creating something new and creating a different alternative to the violent systems that are out there. And it's an experiment, and we're learning every day and doing it imperfectly, but it's a really fun and hard and joyful challenge. So.
My biggest hope for my time here at the Possibility Alliance is that I can come into a deeper understanding of what I have to offer and how that meets the world's need at this point in time.
I think a lot of people, especially my age and younger, spend a lot of their energy and a lot of their time and lives asking the question, what should I do with my life? What am I supposed to do with my life? And I spent a while looking for that myself, looking for that purpose or that place. And I think the magic of discovering what's happening here and also creating what's happening here is just this. Let's focus on here and these people and this community and this neighborhood, and let our work radiate out from this spot, and just to do our best every day to heal this spot of the planet, and to have that healing radiate out as best that we can, and to serve others, whether that's the people who are here or in our neighborhood or in La Plata or Kirksville or broader in St. Louis or Kansas City, or even broader still, like it's just to be of service. But to just have a spot to say, let's start here. Let's take a stand. I think that's one thing that it's meant for a lot of us to be here.
Another thing that I really love about the Possibility Alliance here is kind of a part of the name of the place, Possibility, is believing that everything is possible and really going for, with all of our energy and all of our passion, what we really want to see in the world. I haven't really encountered that in many places. I encountered people that are going for things with a lot, but it seemed like the energy here, the collective intention, is to just say, screw it to all the things that are holding us back from doing what we really want to do and being who we really want to be, and just really going for it. There's a lot of life and vibrancy that I've found through that intention.
Everybody's doing it, dude.
Now I'm noticing my abdominal muscles are like, hey, treading water, what is this?
What?
We don't do this in St. Louis.